the way it sounds.
Sure do.
I'm about to make your mic hot right now. They're about to hear you in the world right now. About to hear you in the world right
it's
now.
all good.
Oh, deep voice too.
Does it turn you
You got
on?
that very.
How does it make you feel?
I'm gonna give you my best Barry tonight.
Oh, let me find out.
Barry
Oh, man.
White.
You bringing a Barry after the claps or before the?
You're now listening to DTF Radio.
Actually, you're
Butters.
at DTF Radio,
At DTF Radio.
and we're on the Butters Basic Show every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. Man, I'm so happy
Yes.
to be back on air. The shit is lit.
Yes.
I gave a high pitch when I walked in the station today. It was like, it is going to be an awesome, awesome, awesome day that my higher power has made. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. Me too.
Live and direct from Brooklyn, New York, but you know it is internationally local. Is how I stay here at the Butters Basic Show. This is the platform for the unknown to get known, and the instrumentals playing in the background. Let me give it up. Let's set the tone for the day. Father's Day, Zaddy's Day, Daddy's Day. Oh man, are you a father?
Yes, I'm a stepfather. So I'm a
Oh,
father.
Yes,
you are
you are a
definitely a
father.
father, man. Oh man, I don't want to even play the generic class, so you want to give it up for my. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
awesome. You know, tell the people your name, hun.
My name is Lighthouse, and I'm from Brooklyn. Owner and founder of my own record company. I make music, I rap, I produce, and I'm a creative entrepreneur.
I like that. Awesome, awesome. No crickets for that. You have to, you know, actually throw up the fake ones for you right now. Like, it's really dope. But you know, I don't want to just skip parts. I just wanted everybody to know that they were listening to your instrumentals. But you know,
Yes.
for all those that don't know, my name is Butter, and it's really awesome to be on air with you. This is Father's Day 2020, and I'm sure you got clear vision sitting to the, well, I would say the left of me, sitting right next to me, but it's the right to me. Yo, it's Kimmy Kim, y'all. Make sure that you know, follow Juicy on air. So she doesn't always like sitting in the co-chair talking
here.
spot, but she's
I'm here.
Yo, tell them about yourself, Juicy. How are you feeling today?
I am feeling great. I'm happy to be here. Happy to see my familiar faces, my friendly faces, my strong faces.
How about the word
Thank you.
familiar?
Oh, I love it.
You know, when they said during this corona joint, don't let strangers around you or into your house and things like that, I thought to myself, like, yo, it took a minute because I had a slight anxiety about things, but I had to realize that the people that I am familiar with are the people that I can actually keep within my realm of reality during this time. This is like, this right now is an amazing time to be alive.
Yes.
So I'm thankful to be here sitting with you guys, and the ancestors, you know, always give us the libations that we pour out beforehand. But, you know, this is like, you know, we can't be festivalizing at DTF right now, you know, things are or whatever. But, you know,
Focus.
yo, sitting to the next of you, Kimmy Kim.
The left of me.
Once again,
Lighthouse.
Lighthouse is in the building. That was the Beats by Lighthouse, and then next to him we've got the scholar himself, the brainiac himself.
Yeah, too much.
Damn,
too
DJ
much.
Hannibal
That's it,
is in
that's
the
it.
building, y'all. Tell them a little something about yourself, Hannibal.
Well, look, at its core.
Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
I can
At
only
its
say.
core or at your core? I want them to know about you.
I got you. I
Alright.
got you. Well, you know, I know we'll be talking about the Barry White voice to my right, and I'm just gonna have to quote Malcolm here for a minute, where he said, "It's just like you got some coffee that's too black, which means it's too strong. What do? You integrate it with cream. You make it weak. While you pour in so much cream, you'll never even know you ever had coffee. It used to be hot, it becomes cool. It used to be strong, it becomes weak. It used to wake you up. Now, it'll put you to sleep." So that is just
What the hell?
a little side of me.
That's
Who was
fire.
expecting?
He's the
That was
cream to the
fire.
coffee.
I wasn't expecting any kind of, you know, a gunshot worthy, but you know,
It's on now. It's on.
But
giving
I'm,
it up. Brooklyn style. You from Brooklyn?
I was born at New York Hospital. I've lived in Brooklyn. I've lived in Queens. I've lived in the Bronx. But
What's
I
your
can honestly
social?
say, right now, 11238. Make it work.
Oh.
Make it work.
It's missing a couple of numbers.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Social.
I give my zip
Social
code. I give
security.
We'll figure it out.
last 5 digits 2430. But you know,
why?
there, you
Oh,
know.
why?
you
Do
know,
you think
details.
that there was some type of conspiracy behind knowing who was ethnically what from their social and the numbers where they were placed, or are we overthinking things?
Do not attribute to malice what can be explained by incompetence.
Listen, listen,
Facts.
Yeah.
Deep.
listen.
Yeah.
Let's get a little
And
more shallow. Say it in layman's terms. For
And as
people,
the two coincide,
Absolutely.
however,
Absolutely.
continue, please.
Absolutely.
put it a little shallow. Let's tell it.
I can say if there's any plan that's been in place for a very long time, it's the plantation owner distracting everyone. And to me, it goes back to Pharaoh. You know, Pharaoh said 3,000 years ago, you want to extend a period of slavery, get the slaves to fight among themselves. It's not complicated.
Dirty works, as my boy Taz would say. Shout outs to DJ Taz, man. I definitely want to give a special shout out to everybody that took the time to move at God's speed and look at themselves and their craft and develop themselves in their craft. Like, if there's nothing else that you could have done with this time here where they, you know, Master told you to stay in the house. Usually it was get in the field. Yo, I'm sorry, but that's just the way my mind thinks. Like, yo, I've always been thinking to myself, like, yo, even all the gangsters had to stay in the house and did it too. Like, they stayed in, so supposed you wouldn't hear from not a nan, nutter.
We thought we
People
was
got ghosts. It was
no,
over.
but we
Like, it
thought
was
we were
quiet.
saving each other though at the same instance.
Man,
You know?
I've been the
You don't
champion
wanna
of go
infect,
outside and
right?
get some of that air, get that UV ray.
No, but were you really
Touching
like
up.
feeling a ways about coming outside? Like, there was at one point in time where I had to think to myself, like, yo, what if they just sprayed it into the air? They've been doing it with chemtrails for so long, like, you know.
From the inception of this, when I started becoming aware of it, like in middle November, like I live on the 15th floor, so in the morning I could see like the sun rising. Like, there was a couple of days where there was like this iridescent orange haze in the air, and like usually you'll see that when the weather is more humid and whatnot, but it was just like this glaze and stuff. And then there would be days where it would just be clear skies, and then ultimately they started saying, like, when I saw it on the news that people were just dropping from being incapacitated from not having oxygen in China, and I was like, oh no, that's coming to America. And then I would tell my friends, they was like, no, it's not. I'm like, nah, they're gonna use this in America. They're like, no. And then when I saw that Italy stopped soccer games and there was no fans at the stadium,
biggest thing
I'm like,
ever.
oh no, they're gonna shut down sports in America. No, they can't do that. No. I'm like, watch. So then I knew about what was gonna go on from like December. I attended.
Look
like,
at you being prophetic.
Oh yeah.
Here's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Which projects are you in with 15 floors? down there? I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking around. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, but like I just knew what it was going to be, and like, you know, I had some elders like kind of break it down, like what the plan was from like 92.
You have elders that actually get together and have these conversations?
Yes,
Because I
I
found
do.
that I couldn't even. Plenty of time. Sorry, mom, to blow you up, but my mom wasn't even answering phones for people like that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yo,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
elders actually even got together and
Yeah.
talked. Real talk, though.
No, it's real. No, absolutely.
I'm in tune with the
It's
elders.
a lot of folks.
And they're in tune with, and they're connected, and like they just know what's going on, and they give us like a broadcast of what's going to happen, so we could.
They
better
try to
prepare
pass on
ourselves.
knowledge, because it was like, you know, if you don't, I'm not trying to say that people don't have an innate quality to absorb knowledge, but if there was a systematic situation that removed your ability to be cognitive like that, it's really difficult for some people to actually process existential knowledge outside of like just going to a institution.
Right.
Not
And-
only
and-
process, accept it. Like
They
sometimes
taught us.
Talk about it, Kim. What you say, Mama?
No, I was saying like sometimes our biggest problem is accepting it. Like
Right.
we've been so involved in the information that we were getting previously,
Sure.
and it became a part of our life. We became, I guess, like
A second nature?
if not, and then when we're told something, and it could be truth, but we're just so caught up in what we already knew that it was hard to just accept it.
Right.
Like
Here's the thing.
Well, I'll build on that
No,
for
go
a
ahead.
second
Yeah,
because
let's say.
because truth is very interesting. Truth goes in stages. The smartest people on the planet used to say that the world was flat, and if you challenged them, they burned you at the stake. So to me, you offer somebody truth, they reject it. You offer it to them again, they fight it. The third time you offer it to it, they fight it and they threaten you. And then all of a sudden they say it was obvious. And getting to that last stage is critical because you will sit back and say to yourself, well, wait a second, was this in my interest? Was it in my interest to ignore this virus? Was it my interest to ignore this information? No, I don't think it was in our interest to necessarily ignore it. The fact that it didn't immediately impact poor people, it impacted white people, it impacted people of privilege. And that told me, you know something, I'm gonna pay attention to this because if they can't fix it for them, it's gonna be worse for us. And that's how it ended up working out.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
true.
wild. Well,
That's true.
talking about fixing it, and I think, I will round off our Corona talk with this is basically like, did you take a look when Madagascar's president was able to say we have this herbal cure and I'm going to give it to my people for free?
They try to shut it down.
They try to shut
globally.
that down,
Yeah.
like on a
news
it was
scale,
just
yeah.
amazing that they automatically, and I love the way that he challenged the understanding. He said, if this on a world scale, he said, if this was a European country, would you guys have an
Even
issue
question it.
or question it the way that you have? Like, well, for my people, since we are a sovereign nation and can do what we choose to do, and it's my people, we're
wanna
going to
take
do
care
it
of
this
everybody.
way.
Right.
And a lot of African nations started buying it and said, we're going our herbal route.
And that's the perspective that I was coming into this year with. Like when I saw how everything was unfolding, I said, like, I have family members who just know from a biochemical perspective, like what it actually is, and like we're natural beings. Like we've been dealing with diseases since the beginning of mankind. So our body is designed to fight with whatever, but we have to put the right things into it. We have to treat it right. That what you were saying earlier, that people started to focus more on their health and started to do the right thing. So when this started kicking off, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to drink as much. I'm not going to do hookah. I'm not going to smoke, put nothing in my lungs because I'm going to need my lungs.
I'm even go a
you know?
step more extreme, and I know that the black woman has always been a giver of style to the world, as of many other women as well too. But the African woman is the originator of style. I said to myself, I was like, yo, put all these European-esque wigs in a bag and chill for it and shave my shit Zulu style and see how that freedom is right there. Like, I've had shortcuts before. Sorry to sidetrack, but I definitely think that it's really important for people to understand. Like, you might look at people's Instagram and say, yo, that's a butter. That's butter. I even had, I will tell you later, Commodore was laughing like, that's butter. I'm like, yes, it's butter. Like, what's wrong with you?
look
Like,
like a whole new person.
what are you talking about? It's the same essence.
Right.
You just are used to, and I guess the world is used to seeing many black women don't really look too much like an African
No,
woman.
that's what we were programmed to
Yeah,
believe.
that's what I'm saying.
What
You're
is
programmed
considered beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Having
So
the
while
straight hair, having the particular look.
everybody's
Yeah.
fighting for, there's mad more Lupitas going on right now because we're understanding. I don't know if it's a spiritual thing going on with everybody. Like for me, it is to let the sun touch on almost every part of me that it can.
Right.
So
You need that UV to
You know,
fight
that's
this,
what-
whatever
that's
it is.
just-
Yeah, you need that.
so anybody wanting to know, that's what my look's about.
And for those who can't see the full body shot, it's working. It's working. Okay?
I'm gonna take a short break, play another one of your. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play the first one. We'll come back into the second one. Watch me now.
And
Watch
you're
me. Where can they
digital
follow
or
you?
what?
Tell, because you guys are gonna start getting followed.
Okay. What? Tell them what.
Like he's
Social?
got like 10 million followers already. Like, what do you mean? Start getting followed?
no.
What kind of blood thing is this? What's she
You
talking
can always
about?
use more. Like what my social is?
Yeah, give it out.
Yeah, my social is Book Lighthouse, BOOKLIGHTHOU5E. And that's across
That's
the
a lot.
board.
Say it again.
Book Lighthouse. So it's book BOOK.
BROOK.
No.
Book.
Book.
Like reading a book.
Duh. Okay, y'all. So now since I've gotten it stuck in your head what the wrong one was.
Book Lighthouse, but instead of a S in Lighthouse, it's a 5.
Book 5 Lighthouse.
Book
Nope.
Book Lighthouse, but Lighthouse with a 5.
Oh my God.
I got you, babe. I got you,
Yeah,
babe.
thank
Mike,
you.
where can they find you at, hun?
On the gram, you got MT1906 SP91.
Goodness
That's it.
gracious.
Keep
These
it simple.
people with these Instagrams are the hell. Kimmy Kim.
I am quit while you're ahead. We don't need any more confusion in this world. The world is already letting us know
I like
what's
that.
going on. So let's just go ahead and try to be on point. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah, it is.
Yo,
Like good
that's
stuff.
That's a family
How do you feel
adage.
about
Oh,
that?
and can I please shout out all my fathers?
Please do.
You know what I'm saying? I know this is like a big issue in my family. Like we kept feeling like, oh, you ain't my daddy. What I need to be celebrating you for? But in all actuality, men are a huge impact in the household. I want to shout out my nephew Peanut Shiraz Moran. I want to shout out my brother Raymond.
Damn, how about
Cora
all the men in
Sr.?
your life, damn it?
No, all the fathers in my life. You feel me? I got a lot of men in my life, but at the end of the day, they choose not to have children because they
Sorry,
don't
but
wanna...
I had to put the
No, you're all going. You're all
blast.
good.
All the ones who didn't do what?
They just don't want to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? They actually create shit, but they don't want to grow it.
Right,
It's
right.
weird out there, man.
It's crazy.
Well, shout outs to the ones
But
that
another
wanna
shout out
create,
to my
right?
other brother, Florencio Cora Jr. I must say my brothers are actually stepping up to the plate. When I was a youth, they stressed me the hell out. But thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is the Butters Basic Show every Sunday, 2 to 3, y'all. We'll be right back. Take a listen to this.
Definitely had
agenda behind it. It's just my life experiences, but I think that my life experiences are relatable.
Other studios, you can't come onto the.
Oh, really? Let's talk some more about it.
We're gonna talk about DTF Radio and the great vibes that's going on this Happy Father's Day Sunday. You know what I'm talking about?
How many people do you think were able to flow over that beat just now, like while they were listening? Like, I would love for anybody that was listening to that beat to send me, you know, your request to
Yeah,
like
I'm
house.
with it. I'm with it. I like to hear spitters on my beats. You know, that'd be dope.
What is it that you like? What's your main music genre that you provide beats for? Are you locked in a box or are you expanding?
I'm like expansive. I try to do different things because I listen to different things. I don't necessarily. I actually don't listen to hip hop primarily. Like I love hip hop though, but it's just the new music. I like it and I can appreciate it. But I like soul music and stuff. But I could rock. I could get whatever they want. I got it. If you like samples, you like trap, you like this and that, I could give you that sound. You know?
Okay, you give them what they give people what they
whatever
request.
they want. Yeah.
Can you produce rock music as well
I could
too?
do that too.
What about
I got guitar
country?
play. I could do all of that because it's all just 13 notes on the piano and then any instrument, and you can make anything.
Just.
Like,
Excuse me.
Just.
Excuse me.
If you need it, I could get. I got guitar players,
I'm about
bass
to
players,
say, I'm
drum
like,
players.
yo,
I could do
when
it,
I
whatever.
see Timbaland doing what he be doing, I don't be thinking like, oh, that's just 10 keys, and the black ones and the white ones, and I'm gonna go like this. Hit up, it's only that. That's anything you want.
Anything you want.
That's it. Me and Timbaland, we be doing the same shit.
Word.
I'm gonna fight you. That's
Talent right there, boy.
Yo, no. The shout outs to Timbaland and Swiss Beats with that versus joint. Like that's
I love
They
it.
to
came
me,
up on that.
that
for
was like
real.
one of the highlights of the Rona.
That.
Entertainment
The
wise.
entertainment,
Yes.
like, let's keep it politically correct.
That
Like
man DJ D nice too. Like, you know what I mean? Just allowing people to understand what the purpose of the platform was, you know, where you could do live. Because I always told people, like DJs that I know, just do it. But they were always concerned with like the numbers. Like, oh, only 12 people going to show up. But like, if you build it, they'll come. You know, if you just keep it going. Just do it.
Absolutely.
There's a market for everyone.
Yeah, it's just a vibe. He just gave
Put
a vibe.
yourself out
you know?
there. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's really awesome that once again, you know, we can have talented people around us that actually inspire you. You know, they gave something to the world with that. Like during that time right there, I'm like looking like, yo, people are having a great. Just the numbers alone, even if it was Instagram manipulating what was going on, like the numbers alone of people that tuned in to one person's energy or two people's energy in the world, that was like that magnetism right there. I like that you know, you can look at how someone has power leadership in that way to guide people. Like imagine what those numbers of people have been doing, even with the protests, is like to be in a crowd like that and give your energy into the one unified purpose. That's a really awesome thing. I can't lie, and it's not like I didn't see some people in the crowd while I was protesting that didn't know what the fuck they was doing there. You know, I'm just saying what I saw.
They were willing to be on the ground, so that's where we at. Yep.
And you know, the way that you had described it to me the other day too, you're like, yo, some people is designed to do this in the movement. Some people are designed to do that. Not everybody's gonna be a body on the forefront. Not everybody's gonna be a person behind the microphone talking about it. And you know, some people needed to be at home schooling kids a certain type of way because it's like I said, it's a fucking amazing time to be alive right now.
It
Yep.
is.
You know what I'm
It's the
saying?
actions.
I'll only add, there also need to be people like me sitting on the sidelines saying, if you're an anarchist and you're here to do harm to the community and you're not from the community, there's some of us who are going to stand in your way.
Oh, absolutely.
And I guarantee you that you will not tread on me.
Absolutely.
Damn,
Absolutely.
kid.
That's
Yes.
right. That's
You know,
right.
And you got a lot of
That
people,
energy
you got a lot
too.
of support with that,
Yeah.
especially within that community.
Absolutely.
I assure you.
Yeah.
Well, how do you plan on, you know, making yourself a powerful force in the situation? You know, when you say that they won't tread on you, we talk a lot. You know what I'm saying? You see a lot of people that do a lot of talking, but I seen some people that around my way, if you come around my way, there are homeowners and people that's ready to fucking get it popping. And whether or not people understand this or not, they have made themselves American in this country enough to say that you're not going to come and fuck with my American situation. You understand what I'm saying?
You're not gonna
So I will say this, you know, that was a great, I love the segue into Miss Candace Owens,
Oh, goodness.
who would love to conserve the situation of Americanism, I guess patriotism. You know, like I said, you know, I'm not gonna hide this. at first I thought, oh shit, you know, a little female-esque, Obama-esque type of situation going on here. And then I was like, wait a minute. Some of these things is fucking like, you ain't conservative, you radical as fuck. How come nobody's putting the, like, who's handling you? Who's handling you?
Or who's letting her loose?
Well, the Candace Owens of the world are
Exactly.
There's a purpose that they serve, because it's like somebody telling half the story. And in the end, if you want to talk about personal responsibility and how people are pulling themselves up by the bootstraps, my first question is, which projects did you grow up in? What were the hurdles that you overcame? Because I'm the first one to say that I didn't come from a housing project, and had I come from a housing project, I might not be here today. And in the end of the day, if you're going to tell half the story, if you're going to leave out all of the gaps that were created by slavery, if you're going to not talk through systemic racism and just say, well, I'm going to point out the bad behavior of a couple of people, you have no street credibility anyway. You haven't been able to lead anybody to do anything. You stand there counter, but counter to what? Because at the end of the day, do you think that the people who are patting you on the back saying, yeah, you're holding those people accountable for rioting? Rioting is the voice of the voiceless. It is not the way that you start a process. It is part of a process. And I'm not validating it or justifying it, because I guarantee you, when it came to my small business, we had a conversation. And I'm an employee at a small business. And good or bad, right or wrong, I let people know, you will not cross this line. You will not grab our garbage and throw it in the middle of the street. You will not deal with this.
People would come in trying to do that?
They're trying to do that right up there on Washington Avenue. And the owner's son of the building comes out. This building is owned by a Caribbean family. So for the anarchist who's there for destruction's sake, I got something for you. You're not going to make it out of this one.
So we have a problem, basically. When I say we're talking about you right now, but I'm pretty sure everyone this can resonate with. We have a problem with anarchy amongst ourselves. You understand? Because like, even when I was marching and you talking about Black Lives Matter, I was like, yo, luckily I had an experience where Hawk Newsome came up here and spoke with us here at Butter's Basic Show already. It was excellent. Shout outs to Monet and Moore for putting that together. And it's just amazing. Where were I seen several different organizations, and all of them might not have been affiliated with Black Lives Matter. I even seen, some people a lot of the white people had accents. I'm like, yo, where are you from? I've been asking them all the time, not that I care, but about your nationality as a white person, but I wanted to know who was amongst us in Black Lives Matter marches. So I would ask the person next to me, where are you from? I found people from Portugal.
Sure.
I found people from Australia. I found quite a few people, even some people wanted to interview me from ABC Australia, but I guess when they looked me up, they're like, wait a minute, she already knows too fucking much. Like, this is not the type of Negro that we want on talking on our sorry to be an asshole, but I told them, like, before you go and ask me to come talk on your platform, please look me up and see how you feel about what you think the commentary might be from me. Sounds fair.
Oftentimes, the Black experience is it could serve as like a stimulus package for people that are outside of our community, where they can just come in and try to exploit it, and just be a part of the chaos, be disruptive, break and destroy our businesses, and then charge it up to like, oh, well, insurance will cover it up. We're just here to like, participate. But they don't necessarily care. They're just figuring out ways where
they showed so
benefit.
many instances on social media of, and I'm not saying this against any white person that I might have been next to, I'm speaking about the people that were there to do anarchy,
right?
That were bashing out windows and, and then standing there with spray paint and doing that. Black people were catching them on camera doing it. Like, yo, we didn't ask you to do this shit. What y'all out here doing? Like,
Right.
It was wild. I was like, yo, like,
Yeah.
Well, see,
really? It only takes for them to break a window for your dimwit ass to go inside and steal. But you know what?
But no, it's deeper
Go
than
ahead
that.
and take the shit. Like, it's
definitely
it's
deeper
not
than
yours
that.
anyway.
Right.
So you're gonna be I'm not encouraging
No.
the fuckery, but like, yo,
It's definitely deeper though. It's
here's the
definitely
deepest part of it that I saw when in reference to rioting and looting and what people didn't like. Sorry, there's always gonna be casualties in this war. No matter what way you take it, whether it's financially, or burden on the innocent, which has been going on, or somebody's business, this, that, and I know you're a small business owner, but it might have been that
Not an
you're
employee. Just put it out there.
No, but I'm just saying, like, realistically, if it's a war going on, you can't expect for everything to look nice all around you. Because I see some shit going on in the Middle East that's just wild as fuck. I'm looking at Yemen like, damn, y'all sitting right next to Yemen, rich countries like Israel, and y'all not helping them? What the fuck is going on, kid? But who am I over here, little old Caribbean African American me here in the United States, just trying to figure out what the fuck the masters of the universe want to do next? But
What we need
anyway.
to start considering, though, is we got to stop going against the grain. I get what you're
Facts,
talking
nah,
about
I'm
as
not
far
going
as
against the grain. I'm giving a different perspective.
No, I get this perspective. What I'm like, I've told my nephew, I can walk in a crowd of 100 people and I could be the only one throwing rocks. It only takes one to shatter a glass.
Right.
And I could leave the whole block in destruction, and you wouldn't believe that it was just that one person that did such.
Mm-hmm.
But it is possible.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, we have to look at the fact that, yes, our protest is just a part of the plan. We don't have anybody that's literally walking in that protest that's sitting in the House of Congress that had access to create laws or any other statutes. You know? But actually, those destructions and that army of protests gives the believer of the person who writes those laws to understand that I got a following. I can get these folks to do what I say. I need you to do what I say, opposed to I'm going to start getting these people to follow me. Mm-hmm. We started out with just pleading for the life of somebody who was taken unjustly. That's what we started as. Mm-hmm. And then we continued moving forward, and we continued rewriting laws and reconstructing our government, so to speak. And yes, I hear you. You're protecting that small business where you're an employee there, and they got Caribbean owners. We got to now question who else is willing to put that protection up, and at the same time, how much do you really lose to get that point across?
Dude, one dude lost his whole life. The 77-year-old dude that was the he was the ex. He was protecting
so
the
what
business.
we're saying is to protect property and financials, we can take a life. That's weird to me. You know what I'm saying? Let that fucking building burn. They got insurance, and at the end of the day, we get it. We didn't necessarily burn it, but it is a part of that war. It is a part of that fight. That protest is not just innocent people just walking quietly through a neighborhood, because that don't get nothing taken care of.
Well, that's why I said.
But it was the destruction of those corporate buildings.
Oh, well,
it was the destruction of personal property.
Let me ask you a question.
Goes together.
Here's the thing, right? This might sound a little off to some, but I need you to like pay attention to this one here. When whoever was doing what they did when they brought them towers down, that was war too. And those were casualties of war right inside of there.
And then we find out later that everybody was in on it.
And that's what I'm trying to get at, is like when they waging they war, nobody else is a consequence in their head besides, those that are casualties. And because they know that there's I'm talking about collateral damage, and they took human lives, like straight up and down, like, and I'm not trying to lead to who did what or anything like
we
that.
Don't know.
You understand? Nah,
but
we do know, but we ain't really gonna get into it.
Let me just say that I think you're both raising good points, but there's a huge difference in between saying you're going to go to some corporate entity and
mash it up,
and you're going to go to a small business and do something. Because to me, at the end of the day, I was looking at people who did not come from the neighborhood, who did not look like me, and I simply made it clear to them,
no, and that was
you
clear.
Will not cross this line.
That's what we're talking about.
And good or bad, right or wrong, that's how it should work. Because in Brooklyn, I know this much. When I was a principal in elementary school, I had a 4th grade girl tell it to me like this: "Hey, Mr. Taylor, big enough to hit, big enough to get hit."
Yeah.
Got you.
Absolutely.
I got you.
Oh, shit.
Absolutely.
All right, so I got a quick rundown of some questions that,
I was told I was old enough to hit. No, I was grown enough to
Let me know when you figure out what you was told, motherfucker.
No, because I was actually taught that when I was a kid. That's why I don't swing on people. Unless I'm ready to take you all the way down.
That's all.
Okay, so let's go around the room, right? Do you guys consider yourselves an American descendant of slavery?
Sad but true, yes. I think about it every day.
Oh, wow.
The terms that we identify with are very important, and I know, like, technically, you know, yes, I feel like my family has had some sort of interaction with the whole history of America. We are Americans, you know. I don't like to assert that connection to that term, you know, like, my people were oppressed, you know, in America, and that's what it is. I'm a melanated American. My ancestors built this country, and my ancestors fought. I have an oral tradition where we have stories of our people putting the work in on people oppressors, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't like to do that. I like to just say that I'm American, you know.
So in other words, your acronym would be too long.
Yeah, pretty much. No, my acronym will be short. I'm a melanated American. That's it. I'm an American. You know what I mean? I built this, and a real American. When the Europeans came over here and they discovered the Americas, my people was here too. You know what I'm saying? So I like to, like, my history and how I perceive it is different. You know, like it's what works for me. Everyone might not subscribe to what I believe personally, and you know, it's just from what I've learned and what I've tried to study on my own history. I identify myself.
Well,
as
damn,
an
that was a
American.
long ass yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna keep mine nice
gonna-
and short. Mine, absolutely, I like the idea of the ADOS. And I'll quote Dr. John Henrik Clark. We've misused the term black because black just tells you what you look like, but it doesn't tell you who you are.
Okay.
And when you call a people by their right name, that's supposed to be an indication of land, language, and culture. So all of us now have to fill this gap from slavery, figure out what that land should have been, figure out what that culture should be. You know.
So is
I
it a
said,
yes
well,
or a no?
I started off with a yes.
Think about it every day.
Absolutely.
All right, so now we're going to go ahead. Is there a sinister plan to keep black people repressed or subdued in America?
Yes.
Let's go back around this way.
You know, when I say
We're
I
going to
say
keep them
a
short and sweet
plan,
because I got a couple of these joints I want to pump them out.
the miseducation of the Negro outlined that plan, what, 50, 60, 70 years ago? And it all goes back to slavery. And in the end, it's all a distraction. So I'd say yes.
All right. And
Carter G. Woodson.
Yes, I'm gonna just say yeah. Short answer, yeah.
no, I'm saying you can give your synopsis. I just want to, you know, I got a few things. So I
I'm
just want to
ready.
make sure.
Yeah, I believe, you know.
Is there a sinister plan to keep black people repressed and subdued in America?
Sinister, systemic, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sinister and systemic, absolutely, because those are who are in the position to continue the petition, the actual petition to keep doing the sinister and oppressing behavior. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once we get them out of position, hopefully this young man could be in that position, and then everything will seemingly change.
Okay, so then what are
accordingly.
some ways, you know, we can mix it up real quick. What are some ways that the system undervalues black lives? Anybody could think of a couple things?
Giving
there?
credit where credit is due.
What are some ways the system undervalues?
Well, look
By
at the
black
reality of all
lives.
the
By
attention
not
that
giving credit.
Juneteenth is
By
getting
not
for.
giving credit?
Yeah.
Look at how many basketball players we've got.
We
Isn't
still
that
don't give
credit
them
enough?
credit. We give
I
the
know, I'm just fucking
NBA
with
credit.
y'all.
We give all of the corporations that employ these athletes.
Look,
for
I
their
knew that was
actual-
gonna get her in the right mode.
Because I was an athlete for NCAA and we were used.
Yeah.
And now people can get paid for it.
Right.
That's crazy. I know, like,
Okay.
growing up in that, you like,
That's
damn,
wild,
damn,
son.
like, I could have got a bankroll. I've been all right
But
now.
not even that. Your whole perception of how you're gonna live changes as well.
Right, right.
You start understanding business at a younger age, opposed to NCAA giving you the rules when you're in middle school,
Right.
letting you know that you cannot station this, you cannot sanction that, and you cannot participate in this. You couldn't even play in city tournaments
The
because of NCAA.
That's
was
crazy.
modern day slavery.
Exactly.
Period.
And why do we have all of the black athletes being so great at their sport? All the way to even fucking to hockey.
I don't know. You tell me. You were-
Because they're genetically fucking great. That's all I'm gonna fucking say. But at the end of the day, anybody that practices can progress. That's all I say.
You know
I
what?
wouldn't get into genetic superiority, but because that tends to be very problematic.
And the reason why it's problematic because most of the scientists are biased. They're culturally biased. They're scientifically biased. They're financially economically biased in the sense that if somebody's paying me to say such and such, I'm going to say such and such. Like an autopsy takes place. We got privately run autopsy, and then we got the city run autopsy. How come they come up to two different conclusions?
Yeah, but keep in mind there was a radio broadcaster called Jimmy the Greek, and he basically made that same argument and ruined his career. We got to be careful because when we start using
I don't
the
have a
same,
career.
Can I
So
tell
that's
you?
what- No, no,
Can I? This is
I'm
one of the
willing.
reasons why I told you that
Because they
when you
told
come
me
on
that.
air,
yeah,
especially in a situation like this at DTF Radio, nobody There's nobody that's paying me to talk how I want to talk on here.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, right now I'm wishing that I could film myself saying that so you could fucking understand what fucking time it is. Yo, it is,
Drain the freaking
it
swamp.
is amazing that feeling how you feel can't equate with saying what you want to say in the time and day. Like, I want to know who I'm dealing with. You know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes they only give me pieces of what Trump's, you know, so I have to go back and I watch his whole speeches just so I could totally, you know, understand what it is I'm dealing with. And I do it with anybody that decides to get on a public platform and talk the way you want to talk.
That's right.
Because they're going to put me under a microscope to see how I'm living my life and what this, that. They'll dig up anything on you. So make sure that what you're saying and how you're living your life is real. I wasn't happy when, you know, George Floyd and they started talking about porn star this and that. And I'm like, yo, kid, like, are y'all really at a time like this? Y'all really just gonna go and look to besmirch the man's name? But that's on some Candace Owens shit right there, because she basically was, she said that, like, you could find something wrong with every human being has an infraction or an imperfection.
But I embrace the fact that my heroes are complicated. So if I had bumped into Malcolm X before he went to Mecca, I'd have been a high yellow sellout. But then he comes back from Mecca and realizes that all white people aren't the devil, and he's willing to work with anybody in order to move forward. So if you're
feel
going to
me?
embrace being American, you got to embrace those complications. And if you're looking for perfect, the last perfect person died on a cross. Move
So they
on.
say.
So they say. So they say. Okay? I wasn't there.
Exactly.
I don't know if you was there for that. I wasn't there for that.
Huge supporter of Malcolm X. I truly believe of his thoughts and his understandings and his ideas, even his reasonings for leaving the Nation of Islam.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, he just wanted a plan for all.
Absolutely.
Come together as one, unify and do.
So how perfect is
Opposed
that
to-
segue going right into this question right here?
I don't know.
We're going to
Let's
close
see,
out with this,
because-
right? Should there be a unified culture shift that changes our own perspective of self?
Oh, it's already there.
Yeah.
That's your answer right there?
It is in the makings as we speak.
Once
People
again,
are
For the-
beyond awake.
For the bitches in the back.
For the bitches in the back.
Should there be a unified culture shift
Yes, there should be
that
a-
changes our own perspective of self?
I believe so. I feel like there's a lot of we've been distracted with different ideologies that kind of put us in a you know, I want to advocate my rights. I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? Whether you gay,
Everything's
whether you this, you know, whether you're Muslim, whether you Christian. It's like, nah, we all share the same plight and the same skin tone or the same hatred against us, you know, and like we should just be looking to do things for the greater good. And once we have that, then we can start to like be who we are individually, but we need to focus on the greater good of everybody, because if we have the greater good of our people collectively, then we can focus on like what we need to do to make sure that you're raised up, I'm raised up, they raised up, you know, rather than us trying to like be at the forefront to get it for our own group. So it can't be the individualized notion that I just want to advocate for my group. We should just advocate for everybody, no matter what, because we are not monolithic.
That
you know,
was his belief.
All right.
You know, so
That is that man's
I
belief.
mean, there's a lot to discuss behind that. We on another show for sure. When we talk
Yeah.
about monotheism, is
Yeah.
that you don't want to get into, you know what I'm
Monolithic,
saying?
yeah,
Like
right,
we
right,
can
right.
do that. So now, you can answer as well to Hannibal. Should there be?
Well, I would argue that there should be a flushing out of assumptions, because what you begin to realize is people act based upon information and what's been ingrained within them. And when you get people to expose their assumptions about how the world works, you begin to realize, well, wait a second, if you, like me, if you've had somebody call you a nigger, grab a bat, and beat you within an inch of your life, you approach your life differently. For me, I train in martial arts. I'm always ready. I'm always prepared. And people say, well, why do you carry certain legal weapons? I said, because I can't carry a firearm. You know, at the end of the day, if I could carry a
That's
firearm, I
true.
absolutely would. You know,
That's the whole
but
fact.
the whole point is there's some people who will look at me and say, well, I don't understand why. Well, you haven't lived my life. You haven't had my
Yeah.
experiences.
Right.
But once we flush out those assumptions and agree on what's in common, we have a very different kind of conversation. Because then I can understand your perspective and you
So
can
do you
understand
think that
mine.
Yeah.
there would be
Oh,
a
I
chance
think
for it?
we're moving in that direction. We're absolutely moving in
Fantastic.
that direction.
So guys, you know, really, I wish I had more time to talk with, we will definitely get back again and talk like this because, like I said, this is very familiar.
Yeah.
And I don't want us to get lost in the sauce with the fear that coronavirus had installed into everybody. It created anxiety. I think a lot of people also not just passed from health complications, but the fear of meeting their maker.
Stress.
The stress of the situations. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you feel like you need to fulfill specific goals while you're here on this planet, take God's green earth and make it happen for you.
Right.
Feel fulfilled today, all right? And love on humanity. I would definitely say that. And definitely love your black self if you're black and listening. Like ladies in India, stop lightening your skin to get that movie role. Like when all this shit stopped, even black ladies that over here that was lightening their skin to look more acceptable in the European eyes. Like, yo, love yourself. Brown skin, dark skin, light skin, melanated people. Like that's my message for today. This has been the platform for the unknown to get known. You know what I'm saying? It's Butter's Basic Show every Sunday from 2 to 3. My name is Butter, and you can follow me at Gazebo. That's GAZZEBO, and that's with 2 Z's so you don't sleep. 11210, because I'm a Brooklyn girl all day, every day. Please believe it. Thank you very much, and have a fantastic Father's Day. Peace, everybody.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day.
Do you guys want to give Happy Father's Day to anybody in particular?
I'd like to shout out all my fraternity brothers. You know, like we say, all alphas, all great men aren't
Oh
alphas, but
my
all alphas are great men. There
You're
we
an
go.
alpha?
There we go.
No wonder.
Mm-hmm.